We're living for the moment now, we're one with the world. I can't lose this feeling I get. My heart's in the right place, and so is my soul, yeah. I won't take no excuses for it. I want it, love it, need it, live it. I feel like something's missing when I do not have it. I feel it in my bones, gotta find my space. These emotions on my face, taking a toll, I gotta pay it forward. I'll give it all that I can. No matter what, I won't let up. It's in my soul, it's in my blood, and I won't take no for an answer. If it don't hurt me, it makes me stronger. Yeah, what I won't let up. It's in my soul, it's in my blood, and I won't take it no more. I won't, baby. Just leave it to me. I know what I need. You'll find if you see. And if you believe, you live and you breathe, you'll find the key. Lifting me, lifting you. Can't go alone, let's do by two. Doing this together, it's me by you. All through the night, all through the night. This is me, this is you. When we get together, we can all pull through. I don't ever wanna stop this groove. Let's get it right. Take it to the Lord, then take it to the grave. Listen to the wise man, tell me what to say. Listen to your heartbeat like it still bleed. A little bit of hope, yes, what we still need. Say a little prayer for the moment. Get what you got, just go in. Can't hold you back if you own it. Live your life like you're chosen. No matter what, I won't let up. It's in my soul, it's in my blood, and I won't take no for an answer. If it don't hurt me, it makes me stronger. Yeah, what I won't let up. It's in my soul, it's in my blood, and I won't take it no more. I won't, baby. Just leave it to me. I know what I need. You'll find if you see. And if you believe, you live and you breathe, you'll find the key. Know what I need, I know what I need. You find the keys, the keys.
Chasing love in an empty bar. Pour a drink till I make it past. The midnight hour seems to come and go, but I know. Walk on up with a drink in hand, sipping mixers cause you can. And all the lights begin to switch off. You're chasing the light, holding on for life. Holding on for life, feeding the high, chasing the night, chasing the night. Hotel rooms and city squares, champagne bottles, drum and snare. The sights and cities seem to fall away when you stay. Locked in love for a night or two, losing sleep just to get a few. Day to day you wanna stay out, you're chasing the night, holding on for life.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Tuesday community races for RCI. My name is Ryan Gill, and I'm going to be your broadcaster and commentator for tonight for these very casual Tuesday streams. We only have a couple of people in the lobby so far, but I've only just put the details live, so we should get some people in here fairly soon. There's been a lot of interest in this, so hopefully we do get a somewhat full lobby. We're at Misano for the first race, so it's going to be interesting. We've got Killian Cormac was just in here, but I think he might be going out to switch car. I'm not entirely sure. We've also got Alistair Gillies and Mikhail Sundstrom here as well. We'll probably get a few more people in now that qualifying has started as well. But how is everyone doing here tonight? Hope everyone is doing well. Of course, these streams aim to be a bit more of a relaxed, more casual kind of streams that we have going on amongst all of the championships that we currently have live, and we'll see how these go in the future as well, because we'd like to keep doing more of these. We eventually plan to have a championship or cup series running on the Tuesdays. But for now, we're going to be running these community open lobbies, and tonight's obviously going to be the first night that we actually get to see how well we do and how interested people are in them. But we do have a few people in the lobby, so let's have a look around and see what people are doing. So of course we do have Mikhail Sundstrom in the 899 Swedish, and Mikhail Sundstrom actually was the winner of the Bathurst Night Owl event that we had going on over the weekend. Very fun event that I got to take part in as well. How long is the race? The race is 20 minutes. So once qualifying ends, it'll be a 20-minute race. We've got a short formation lap, so won't have a very long formation lap, just so we can keep the sessions going and stuff like that. So short formation lap, 20-minute race, no pit stops required or anything like that, just a short sprint really. But yeah, so Mikhail Sundstrom won the Bathurst Night Owl event, actually dominated the Bathurst Night Owl event. And like I said, I did get to take part in that, and was doing quite well until a very unfortunate accident. But I think for a lot of people that night was rather tough. Hey Bart, how you doing? Nice to see familiar faces around here. And hopefully we can get some more people in here fairly soon. Like I said, there's been quite a few people responding to the interest in this. In these community lobby races, so I'm hoping that we do get a few more people. Not for the moment. I have heavily considered doing something where I'm involved in the races, kind of streaming the races from my perspective, maybe. We could look into doing that next week, perhaps. But for now, I'm firmly in the commentary box to just have a little bit of a talk over how people are going to be doing. And like I said, hopefully we get some more people in soon. But if numbers start to struggle, maybe I'll get involved, and maybe that'll incentivize more people to come to the lobbies if they know that they can beat me, which, to be honest, is not that great of an accomplishment, but whatever boosts people's confidence is fine by me. course, we've also got Alistair Gillies in here tonight, who was racing in the ICGT Pro Split last Friday. Actually did really well in qualifying, and unfortunately it didn't fare too well in the race. The race went from bad to worse for him, but has pace, that is for sure. Can definitely give credit to that he's got some mega pace, and I think we'll see a lot more of him later on in the ICGT Pro Split. I think Laguna Seca's a pretty difficult circuit for a lot of people, so you know, if Laguna was your worst track, which for a lot of people in the Pro Split, and for the Silvers and Rookies this coming Friday, I think everyone's going to be glad to get Laguna Seca out of the way. Hopefully jump on for the next race. Cool. Sounds good. Obviously we're just we're doing this obviously for a couple of different reasons. One of the reasons is that on Tuesday we are going to be running championships soon, so I need to get experience with doing some of the server admin side, and one of the best ways to do it is in things where I don't have to worry too much about getting the server config wrong and making a massive muck-up of 3 different splits. So these little community races will be good practice for me for these races. So, and also there's been a lot of people that said they've been interested in these kind of lobbies. So obviously if we can do something like that for everyone, that'd be nice. I think both the Ryan Meenans have probably had to jump out because I think they have an ACR race this evening. So that's probably why they've had to jump out. Don't want to talk about that race. Oh, me neither, Bart. Me neither. It was all going so well, and then it didn't. Oh dear. But it was fun. I had fun, even though the race didn't end too well for me. Oh, well, there we go. Cormac in the chat just confirming why they're not there. Suspicion's correct. ACR league races. It's fine. I mean, obviously, an ACR. Well, I mean, not an ACR league race. A league race in general would take priority over just a community private lobby. Just switch us back to that. So we get underway with only a few cars on track for the first community lobby race of the evening, but we only need 2 cars to make a race, so we shall see how it goes. It's going to be Alistair Gillies on pole with Mikael Sundstrom alongside him. Alistair Gillies doing very well in the qualifying session, and he is going to lead up towards turn 1. Sundstrom following in the 899 Mercedes, and behind we have Joe Naylor, the number 1 Lexus, and of course Harry Conway's joined us in the number 28 Aston Martin as well. Always good to see Harry Conway in here. Hopefully he won't be putting on any mega dive bomb moves again like he did at Bathurst on the night owl, but having said that, on the first lap here already he's having a look at getting past the likes of Joe Naylor, and he's going to be on the inside coming up towards the hairpin on the first of the back straights, and he's going to get that move done fairly cleanly indeed as he goes past the Lexus. Lovely livery on that Aston Martin as well, that nice lime green colour with the red accents as well, very akin to the WEC Aston Martin. if Harry Conway has the pace to close down Mikael Sundstrom in the 899 Mercedes. Joe Naylor going very, very deep into the final braking zone there, almost clipping the back of Harry Conway, but just about avoiding the Aston Martin and keeping it nice and clean as they come towards the end of the first lap. Will be Alistair Gillies that leads, followed by Mikael Sundstrom, Harry Conway and Joe Naylor in fourth. I've also just noticed that Harry Conway's team is called Send It On Ryan Racing, which is an absolutely fantastic team name, and I will endorse that name to the fullest, and I hope that in the upcoming 6 hours of Barcelona that we have here at RCI Racing, that Harry and Billy will continue that name onwards, because that is a phenomenal name, and if that's the thing I'm remembered for in sim racing, well, that's fine by me. Come towards the end of the second lap now. All the cars spreading out a fair bit now. Mikael Sundstrom 1.8 seconds down on Alistair Gillies. Harry Conway sitting about 1.5 seconds. The gap has closed ever so slightly since the end of the first lap. But Joe Naylor starting to drop off the back of the pack. So Mikael Sundstrom with the team name Nearly On Pace. There's some very creative team names in the ACC community, and sim racing in general, to be fair, as well. So it's good to see the more creative side. And while we're talking of creative sides as well, I did comment on Harry Conway's livery earlier today. Mikael Sundstrom rocking a very nice white, blue, and kind of a metallic yellow on the side of that car as well. Looking very, very nice. The Mercedes, obviously, a fairly popular car within ACC. Not my favourite car, I have to be honest. I don't get along very well with the Mercedes, but it's a very nice looking car, and it is a very well performing car as well. Same can be said for the car that Alistair Gillies is commanding here tonight, Porsche. Which I know if George Smith was here with me tonight, he would definitely be foaming over the look and sound of this Porsche car right here of Alistair Gillies, the Technic Motorsports team car. Of course, George is probably going to be very excited, as I imagine a lot of people are, for all the GT4 cars. He's going to be excited about the GT4 Porsche coming, the 71A. I myself being a bit more favourable towards the likes of the Ginetta and the Camaro, but yeah, with 15th of July being the release date for the GT4 pack here at RCI, we're going to have a GT4 Championship ready to go for the 20th of July. So that'll be on the Mondays, where the Porsche Cup previously held its place. So we will have a GT4 Championship available for everyone as soon as possible. And I don't think I mind saying that I think that's going to be absolutely phenomenal. I cannot wait for the first race of our GT4 Championship, especially with some of those cars out there, because I think I'm arguably more excited for the GT4 cars than I was for the updated GT3s. Yes, Jesse Lee is not here tonight. In fact, I was supposed to have George Smith joining me here tonight, but I think he is preoccupied. So that means it is just me on my own in the box here tonight for these little community races, but it's fine. I mean, these are more relaxed races anyway, and we should have some more people joining later on, which should obviously make it a bit more exciting. At the moment, with not many cars on track, obviously, it means that there is a bit less action to talk about, but we should have some people coming later on. I think the Ryan Meenans might be coming later on. There's a couple of people that said they'd be coming and joining in maybe about half an hour's time as well. Might be starting a bit early for the community races for some people, so we'll look into all of that as we see Harry Conway go very, very wide. Coming on to the back straight here. But he is catching Mikael Sundström, it has to be said. Gap down to 9/10 of a second now. And of course, there's a big thanks to anyone who's joined here tonight and anyone who has already hit the like button and subscribed, because we have been through a bit of a hard time at RCI in the recent past month and a half, so we definitely do appreciate the community coming in and helping to build us back up and get us back to doing what we love best. We're hoping to have daily races every week, hopefully within the next couple of weeks, or at least within the month. So we definitely do appreciate all the support that we've had. The growth has been absolutely amazing, and the community as well. We're glad to see that we have retained the community, because I think when the disbandment of RLM happened, I think the thing we all feared the most was that we weren't going to retain the community, and we're really glad to see that we have managed to keep a lot of you guys here, and we've also managed to draw in a lot of new people as well. And those people can't go without their praise as well, because they're also the people that have been attracted to RCI thanks to the core of the community staying with us. So we do appreciate every single person in the community, whether you race with us, whether you just watch the streams, whether you just want to be a part of something really awesome. We do appreciate every single one of you. Now, Mikael Sundström has managed to catch up to Alistair Gillies here. I did say before, it only takes 2 cars to make a race, and this is what we have on our hands at the moment. In fact, as we look at this, let's go on board with Mikael Sundström here. This comes into the final corner following Alistair Gillies, 0.4 of a second between them. Just over 10 minutes of the race left to go as we come into turn 1. Tricky right-hander here, followed by a very sharp left-hander. He gets really close to the back of the Porsche. Love this sequence of corners, even though they are quite difficult to get right. You have to take so much of the curb. Then this really tight section here, 2 right-handers followed by a very sharp left, and you have to be really careful of this left-hander to not go too wide. We just get informed that we're halfway through the race. But Mikael Sundström looking good right now, and Harry Conway's also closing the gap, so starting to close up now between these 3. Joe Naylor unfortunately having dropped off the pack, but hopefully we'll have a few people joining later on that are a bit more his pace, so he won't be so lonely at the back of the grid. I know what that feels like, to be honest, to be, you know, to be off the pace of the front runners. You feel a bit lonely at the grid, but fortunately these are only short races, so hopefully it won't be like that for too long. And regardless, we do appreciate everyone who shows up here tonight, everyone in the stream, and everyone who shows up to race here tonight. And of course, if you are sitting here in the stream and thinking, you know, I'd like to add to the number of cars on track, feel free to do so. Just come by to the RCI Discord, link in the description, and look for the Tuesday Community Lobbies info channel. You'll find the password to the server, and you can get involved. You can get racing, and you'll be here on stream as well. And maybe if you know, if you're having some exciting racing, some exciting action, you'll have me be able to commentate on your racing on stream in a bit more of a casual sense. No entry lists, no sign-ups required, just the password. Just a chance for all of us to have some nice, fun, relaxing racing on a Tuesday evening. And I tell you what, Sundstrom is not hanging around here. He is really closing onto the back of Alistair Gillies now. In fact, as we come up towards the hairpin, he's going to have a look on the inside, and he is going to have the space. Going to make Gillies go wide. And now, actually, Alistair Gillies is going to have the inside line as they come back up the hill. Only a slight increase here on the elevation. Harry Conway's on the back of this pack now at the moment, and Alistair Gillies will maintain his first place. That's going to allow Harry Conway a bit of a look on Mikhail Sundstrom as well. All of a sudden, what was a bit of a quiet race to begin with has had some life thrown into it now as Mikhail Sundstrom gets right onto the back of Alistair Gillies. The 168 Porsche having to fend off the 899 Mercedes. Mikhail Sundstrom coming into the braking zone here, into the hairpin. He's got Harry Conway right on his back at the moment as well. He's going to have to be careful. Any mistake will allow Harry Conway the chance to get past him, and that's not what he wants to do at this stage. I'll join next and be last, don't worry. Oh, oh dear, Joe. Don't worry, I'm sure, I mean, there's, no one could be slower than Jesse Lee, so don't worry, if we can get Jesse Lee in here, he'll be last. Billy Octane in the chat, everyone. His teammate here, trying to not absolutely send it on Mikhail Sundstrom. And actually, Harry Conway's picked up a drive-through penalty. That's going to be for track limits, because I'm not out here typing out penalties to anyone. So Harry Conway's picked up a penalty, and that's going to mean that he is essentially out of a fight for a win here. So it's going to pretty much be between Alistair Gillies and Mikhail Sundstrom. Harry Conway will be slightly frustrated. How many races left for today? This is just the first one, actually, Billy. We haven't really had that many people turn up for the first race. It might be a bit too early, but we'll be switching to a different track after this one. Maybe it's Misano. Maybe people just aren't very keen on Misano, and that's the problem. So we'll switch to a different track for the next race. But this is only the first one. We've got a few more races tonight to go through. We've actually had Lubomir Zeman join from as well, so he's arrived in the lobby. Actually, he's just in chat right now, actually, as I say that. So that's good. We're getting some more people in here now, getting a bit more active. Inside sneak peek for the 6 hours that Mikhail will join us for the race. Wow, what a team that's going to be. Mikhail Sundstrom, Harry Conway, and Billy Octane. Whew. That's a good lineup. Not gonna lie, that's a lineup that could challenge for a podium potentially. You know, I think. Oh, Alistair Gillies getting really loose coming out of the hairpin. Mikhail Sundstrom, I think, a bit surprised how slow Alistair Gillies was coming out of the hairpin. I think there was a tiny bit of contact there between the two of them, but Mikhail Sundstrom's going to go for the cutback. And I think he is going to get the move done here on Alistair Gillies as he powers past the Porsche. He's got the inside line. He's got the line that matters coming into the Kings. He's going to cut very sharply in, and he is going to take the lead of the race. And Mikhail Sundstrom taking advantage of a slight mistake there from Alistair Gillies, making a nice clean move as well. Monza for the next one? Ooh. That's, I was thinking Monza or Spa, so maybe we can put it to the chat. What would people like to see? What track would you like to see us go to? Monza or Spa? I think Billy's already decided he wants to go to Monza. might use something different for that track. As I said, car choice is completely free. You can choose, you can run whatever you want. If you want to run the Rex or the Super Trofeo and earn some brownie points with me, that's completely fine. I'm not going to complain. So feel free to use whatever you want. Monza sounds good then, Spa. Maybe we can do that. Do Monza next. Just over 2 minutes left of the race here. Mikael Sundström leads for the first Tuesday community race of the evening, but Alistair Gillies has decided that he's not quite done yet, and he might want to take back this race win. Coming into the penultimate lap, we will have one more lap after this one. Oh, we've got Mr. Joe Barnes in the server as well, and he's in the Lamborghini. He's decided to turn up with something a bit special, although we will be closing the server just to restart it with a different track once this race is finished. So nice to see the people that are going to be sticking around for the next server, though. But the server will be going down in about 5 minutes' time. We'll change over to Monza, and we'll see we'll see how many people we get then. Maybe it's Misano. Do people not like Misano? I thought people did like Misano. I like Misano. Maybe it's just me. We're on to the final lap here anyway. Mikael Sundström leads from Alistair Gillies. Harry Conway still holding down third despite his drive-through penalty. Alistair Gillies is going to be looking at one of the two back straights here, realistically, if he's going to get the move done on Mikael Sundström, but he's dropped back a bit. Mikael Sundström struggling out of the corner coming onto the back straight, but he is going to maintain the pace coming into the first hairpin. Simon Hopkins jumping on the server as well. He's going to be in the Mercedes. So we're going to have a few more people coming into the next race. You like it because it's in Italy? I mean, not really. There are a couple of Italian tracks I actually don't like. I do have a lot of love for Misano and the likes of Imola and Mugello. I'm not the biggest fan of Monza, despite the fact that it's the Temple of Speed and a lot of people love the place. But anyway, out the final corner, Mikael Sundström is going to come, and he is going to win the first Tuesday community race of the evening, just ahead of the likes of Alistair Gillies, and Harry Conway will pick up a podium despite his drive-through penalty. So Mikael Sundström continuing his form from the Bathurst Night Owl race. And he's going to be looking to carry that into next week's Friday Championship as well. Of course, he won't be racing this Friday, but he will be racing next Friday. Harry Conway comes across the line and decides that brakes are overrated, and he's going to park the car very nicely on the gravel. Aston Martin's natural habitat. And as we come to free practice now, we're going to shut down the server quickly. So let's see here. We'll just close that, and we'll open up the config. Event configuration, and we'll type in Monza. You can feel free to join me if you like, Mr. Jesse Lee. We had someone looking around for you a bit earlier on, so feel free to join in if you wish. So the next server should be up. We'll just switch over to it in a moment. There we go. It is up already. We have Monza up next.
Give it all you can.
And there we go. Already got some more people in here. And as I say that, I have been joined by my favourite American at RCI. It is Jesse Lee.
Right, Mr. Nick Setnick, but my goodness, I was actually watching that race there, and Sundstrom had a bit of a fight on his hands, didn't he?
He did, actually. It was Alistair Gillies that led the race, and he had a slight mistake, which allowed Mikael Sundstrom to go past him. But of course, it wasn't just as easy as just getting past him and leading. He did have to hold him off. So. Yeah, good point. And of course, Harry Conway picked up a penalty as well. Typical Harry Conway getting into trouble again, just like at the Bathurst Night Owl race.
Yes, indeed. And as we prepare for the next race, I'm going to make preparations for myself to be available for that, but couldn't leave you alone, Ryan. Had to come and see you. I will be right back, and I am preparing myself for race number 2.
Have a few more people in this time round as I reconnect my broadcasting tool so I can actually see what's going on around the circuit. We're currently on board with Jordan. Well, we're not on board with Jordan Booth. Actually, the broadcasting tool seems to be having some issues. We'll just restart that quickly. Typical broadcasting problems, as usual. Anyone who's had experience broadcasting ACC in the past will know the difficulties of using the broadcasting tool. And actually, Jordan Booth's gone off a bit in practice here. We'll just have a short 5-minute practice session just to allow people to get into the lobby before we go into qualifying. We've got 9 people here at the moment, so a bit more of a complete field. Obviously, nothing like what we usually have, but. We should have some more people joining fairly soon. As I say that, we have a 10th person jumping in right now. So this time round, we don't just have Harry Conway coming in, we actually have Billy Octane joining us as well, and he's decided that for Monza, he's going to go for the complete meme car. He's going to go in the Jaguar, the G3 car. Don't get to see it too much, mainly because it's not a very good car, but nonetheless, Billy is taking the Jag out for a drive here. We've got a very nice spread of cars actually looking down. We've got 2 McLarens, 2 Porsches, 2 Ferraris, a Merc, a Lexus, a Jag, and a Lamborghini. So a very nice spread of cars amongst 10 people so far. Oh, and Billy Octane getting all out of shape coming out of Scari, and that's unfortunately going to hamper his practice lap, but qualifying is coming up next, so it's not the end of the world.
Well, Ryan, guess who's back? back again. Tell me where we are, because I haven't got the sim loaded up yet. I literally got in the door, decided to sit down, and saw that RCI was streaming, and you were running solo. Can you potentially tell people how difficult that is to do? As somebody who's done it himself, but could you relay that to people at home, how difficult it is to not only stream it, run the cameras, and set up the servers too, and also commentate over it?
I mean, it's not particularly easy. It's something you only do if you pretty much have the confidence and belief that you'll actually get everything working. I mean, it was 5 minutes before we went live for this. I was kind of just sat here thinking, am I going to get everything ready in time? Is this all going to be good? But yeah, doing solo comms is never easy. Mainly because you don't have someone to bounce off, but like Jesse said, it's something I've done in the past, and he's obviously done it in the past. I know George has done it in the past as well. I mean, I felt bad for George. He had to do a 90-minute race not so long ago alone, and I had to offer my services to him, because if not, he was going to drive himself absolutely crazy. But as we come into the qualifying session now here at Monza, for the second Tuesday community lobby of the evening.
Yes, indeed. You might notice, folks at home, my mic is a little bit different today. It's because it is a very different mic. As I said, I just got home, came in the door, turned the PC on, and saw that we were streaming Tuesday races. Of course, Ryan briefed me on this yesterday and said that this was going to be a thing. Originally thought that I was going to miss this whole thing, but I'm actually pleasantly surprised that I haven't, and get to watch the other two races. I get to enjoy it with you guys at home. And Mr. Ryan Gill, if it's anything like the first race, it's going to be absolutely crazy. I reckon we got about 10 cars in this race, Ryan, and here we are at Monza. So what do you reckon? 10-car pileup into turn one?
Well, hopefully not, because that's something that these lobbies are hoping to definitely not be. We kind of put these races together just so people can have a kind of public lobby experience without the absolute death in turn one at places like Monza. So, kind of hoping that everything goes smooth sailing here tonight.
Well, I gotta say, I spy a new player in the game tonight. He's a man that you're familiar with. Hell, you stared at him for 40-plus minutes the other night. That's Billy Octane.
Yeah, Billy's running the Jag here at Monza. This is probably the only circuit in ACC in which the Jag can put up some kind of competitive lap time. If we're being honest, it's not a great car. Its straight line speed is one of the few things it has going for it, and when I say one of the few things, pretty much the only thing it has going for it.
So you're telling me it's no good at Paul Ricard, even though Paul Ricard has those ridiculous straights?
The problem with Paul Ricard is that there's more than just a one long straight. There are at Paul Ricard you have a bit of a twisty section towards the end of the first sector, beginning of the second sector, and then of course you have that very difficult third sector, some long sweeping corners in it as well, and I can tell you right now that the Jag would not fare very well there.
Oh, yes, you're absolutely right. So, funny story for everybody at home, and Ryan too, he'll absolutely believe this, but funny story for you guys at home. The Jag was my first love in ACC. I mean, the first car I obviously drove was the Lamborghini in Nürburgring, because that's all we had back then, being an early backer. But whenever the official release occurred, the Jag was my favorite, and it wasn't fast, it was bad, and it handles quite mundanely in comparison to some of the other cars. But the point is I love that car, particularly around here. What I find most humorous about what Ryan just told you guys is the fact that I took this car to Zandvoort and I got my race ruined by the entire field freight training me at one point or another. I think in a 20-minute race I nearly was a lap down. And I mean, I'm not the world's best driver, but I also thought that something was wrong, and as it turns out, it is. But I love it. There's something about the Jag I love. It's a spiritual favorite of mine. Billy's, of course, running it for the lulz today, and I reckon he'll win this race in spirit of me.
I'm not sure if you've seen, but Harry Conway has changed his team name to Send It on Ryan Racing in honor of the magnificent send he had on me that took out Killian Ryan Meenan at the Bathurst Night Owl race. So,
is that his normal paint job, Ryan?
No, it isn't. That is not Harry Conway's normal paint job. Maybe that's his normal paint job for the Porsche, but it's not his normal paint job for the Aston Martin.
That just reminds me of Easter, that paint job. Like, anytime I look at that, I go back to the 90s and I think of Easter, waking up to having an Easter basket. And my apologies if you didn't grow up in a Christian family and you have no idea what the heck I'm talking about. But it's that sort of thing. That reminds me of Easter. I actually really like that. The thing about the Porsche, and I think a lot of people will agree with me on this, it is hard to make that Porsche livery look bad most of the time. Though Mike Noble has tried a few times.
Mike Noble has tried and succeeded in making almost every car in ACC look horrifically ugly, but of course that is his goal, is that he wants to make the most hideous liveries possible, and he's well on his way to achieving that goal, Mike Noble, but you know, his taste in liveries might not be along my lines of taste, but one thing that is along my lines of taste is a skill that someone like Mike Noble has, and unfortunately we haven't seen him around RCI since the Welcome Back event, but I imagine he is fairly busy with some of the other leagues going on. I know he does a lot of races within ACR, so hopefully we can see Mike Noble coming into either some of these community lobby races or some of our league races in the future as well.
Oh, without a doubt. Qualifying expired, everybody on a flying lap. They will get the benefit of completing this lap. Sundstrom is your leader. Billy Octane in the Jag is less than a tenth behind him. Finishes his lap, will not improve, but pretty close all up front. Oh my goodness, and we have a change for the top spot. And Ryan, I'm going to give you the pleasure of pronouncing that name.
Well, it's Timu Ladelma who has taken top spot at the moment, but I wouldn't hold your breath, Jesse, because Harry Conway is 0.6 of a second up as he comes towards the line now, and assuming this is still a valid lap, which it is, Harry Conway will go pole with a 1:48.294.
That is lovely. Harry Conway driving in support of colorblind people everywhere with that livery. It does remind me of Easter. I love that. I love cars. It's so weird how like light blue and sharp pink and bright pink go together. That is incredible stuff. But that is going to be your grid. Harry Conway and Ladelma is going to be second, and you're going to have Zeman and Sundstrom on the third row, and Billy Octane, who a minute after the session ended was second, is all the way back in fifth place. That's nearly halfway down the grid as we've had a late entry. I think Holtman was our late entry there. It's going to have 11 cars on the grid for this. I like this format, though. This is a lot more relaxed, Ryan. This is what you were going for. You're going for community races, more relaxed. The commentary is going to be more relaxed. I'm going to probably tell more terrible dad jokes by the end of the evening. But you mentioned Mike Noble earlier, and while we cooled down, I've got a small Mike Noble story. We were at Paul Ricard in March, and I commented that I did not mind the paint job on his car, and he messaged in public the group like, oh, one of your commentators, meaning me, didn't think my car was ugly enough. I'll try harder next time. The next race we had that he showed that he was in was at Laguna Seca, and he singled me out on purpose and said, is this ugly enough for you? And I was like, good job, Mike. That is the ugliest car I've ever seen.
Well, there you go. That just reinforces the fact that Mike Noble is on the journey to make the world's ugliest livery, and
he is a man about his business, as they say.
he's continuing well on his way to meet that goal. But as we start to get towards the beginning of the second Tuesday community race of the evening, it's Harry Conway on pole, Ladelma alongside him, Zeman and Sundstrom on the second row, Billy Octane in fifth with Hopkins alongside him, Bosch and Barnes on the fourth row, JKM and Booth on the 5th row of the grid, and Holtman there filling out in 11th as we go underway for the start of the second community race of the evening. We're here at Monza for a short 20-minute race, and as they come all the way down to turn 1, better hope that your brakes are working, people, because we don't want to pile up here tonight.
Oh, they are very aggressive.
Yeah, they
Oh,
come
but they're
down
all gonna
in
stop, I
towards the
think.
braking zone, but I think it's all looking fairly clean, at least from the likes of the view of Harry Conway at the moment.
Yeah, Harry Conway is down and gone. That was a pretty darn good start by everybody indeed. I didn't really see too much argy-bargy. There may have been a touch there between Ladelma and Zeman, but again, it wasn't even enough to even really comment about. Just the mere fact that it's really hard to get through turn 1. Oh, but there has been major contact between Ladelma and Sundstrom has spun off to the inside, which became the outside of the corner. We're going to see the replay here. He gets over the curb, he dukes a hazards it, and he's off there. He's going to hold up Billy Octane a little bit, but the big loser and all that is going to be Michael Sundstrom. He's going to be all the way down into 10th. That might even be 11th. But that is not what he wanted. Winner of race 1, and that has not gone his way at all, Ryan.
No, it hasn't, and like you said, Mikhail Sundstrom, the one losing out mostly in that one as well. It was a move on the inside coming into the second chicane, as we see Billy Octane now with the number 53 Ferrari of Bosch. And Billy Octane is going to try and use the straight line speed of the Jag now to get back past the Ferrari. The Jag having a straight line speed advantage on the Ferrari. To be one of the few cars it will have a straight line speed advantage on, and he's going to look for the outside line. The Ferrari's going to have nice inside line as we come back onto the main straight towards the end of lap 1. This is where the Jag's going to come into its own, slides in front of the Ferrari, and now even with the slipstream, I think the Ferrari is going to struggle to keep pace with the Jag.
This is what I'm talking about with Billy Octane. This is why I don't like Billy Octane, because he does stuff that I can't do, and he makes it look easy. Just going around the outside in Parabolica gets it done and fight on. He should have been in 4th anyway, considering the contact up front. But, of course, he had to actually slow down for Sundstrom, who was sort of partway across the track. There may or may not have been contact there between the two of them, but he dispatches of what was 4th place right there, and that's pretty much all I have to really say about that. It was just an excellently executed pass, really, around the outside of that joint. Last time I tried a pass like that around there, I was executed at the exit of the corner because nobody knew I was there.
Simon Hopkins is currently battling Max Holtman for the onerous position of not being last, and it's the 81 Mercedes against the number 33 Porsche. Some damage on the front end of that car, probably had a couple of scrapes on the first lap, a bit of a dent into the bonnet as well.
Oh yes, Ryan, I think I think Simon Hopkins is the one who crashed into Sundstrom when he was backwards across the track.
Ah, that may be the case. You might have a fair point there, Jesse, but Hopkins is trying to defend from Holtman at the moment as they come down towards Ascari for the second time. These two, the Porsche is going to have the slipstream. He's not going to be close enough to the Mercedes to make a move coming into Ascari as we jump back to see Harry Conway 4/10 ahead of Ladelma at the moment, but that Lexus is catching back up to the back of the Porsche.
Yeah, that's actually incredible, because I would have expected Ladelma to have more damage than he actually did. That was fairly significant contact between him and Sundstrom, but for him to actually still be in this, I think that sort of highlights the straight line problems that the Porsche has, and I think it sort of highlights how good the Lexus and Ladelma is. Not to sell Conway or Ladelma short in any way. I certainly don't mean that in any regard. But you know what they say, Ryan? If they get to fighting, that's going to bring 3rd place into it. That's going to bring Zeman back into it, and that's what he wants. And Billy Octane, he's not necessarily out of this. If they get side by side, if they get racing, I know for a fact a lap where you're having to battle somebody around here is like several seconds slower, and they're all within that gap. So just one lap of having to battle with somebody, that completely changes how you're having to run this race as far as running your own line or running a defensive line. So A lot of these guys doing a really good job to get around this joint in the first couple of laps. So only the one real big major incident, the big drama between second and third place at this time. And here we are already, Ryan. We've got 5 minutes gone. These races go by in a hurry.
Yeah, they do, and JKM at the moment defending from Jordan Booth. Jordan Booth in the McLaren, a very nice looking McLaren, deep kind of dark orange as well on that McLaren. Looks very, very nice. In fact, I think I've probably seen that on some of the road-going cars that McLaren have developed over the past few years. But he does have Mikael Sundstrom in the background, who, after the collision that he had with Ladelma on the first lap, he's going to be wanting to work his way back up the field, and the first car in his sights is the McLaren of Jordan Booth.
Man, I gotta tell you something, Ryan. I've seen all sorts of lines through Parabolica, and I don't think there's a really right one. I think it's certain drivers like to what I would call rim riding, or riding the cushion as it's called in dirt racing, where you get 2 tires sort of off and 2 tires on the tarmac, and you just kind of let the car slide its way around the outside. And then there's people that like to take it really nice and tight through Parabolica, and you'll see that if you pay attention to the racing. I like this camera too, by the way. It shows you how banked that corner is, turn 2 right there. It's actually got a fairly large amount of banking to help your car turn there. It may appear flat on some cameras, but it's excellent camera work by Ryan here, showing you exactly what the track surface looks like, and sort of the banking. Again, you go back into more banking here. I think that's an underappreciated part of racetracks, is just how much a lot of tracks are banked to help you help your turning ability. It used to be a lot more prevalent in the day whenever cars didn't turn quite as well or have good downforce, but it's still a thing here on these old circuits. It's actually quite marvelous to see still, as we actually have a battle right here. This is going to be Jordan Booth. He's going to be under fire from Sundstrom. Sundstrom's the one that had that contact early in the race. Sundstrom goes over another curve, and that's going to be disastrous for Sundstrom. Sundstrom's going to hit another wall. He bounces off of it, and he's going to get back onto the racetrack, and here he goes, hopping curb 2, electric boogaloo back into the wall, and he is going to be just fine, but that could be even more damage. This race has gone incredibly wrong for Sundstrom, Ryan.
Yeah, it hasn't gone well for the winner at Misano. Of course, the first lap collision, and then obviously this as well, going up, taking a bit too much curb, to be honest, and then just not really having the room to avoid Jordan Booth without a collision, so having to unfortunately make contact with the wall, but hopefully he hasn't received too much damage on the side of that Mercedes car, and he can have another go at Jordan Booth in a lap's time. As we jump back to Harry Conway, who has managed to maintain this half-a-second gap to Ladelma over the last few laps.
Yeah, he sure has. And the other thing I'm noting is the fact that Zeman is actually getting further away, and Ladelma isn't necessarily... I feel like Ladelma loses all of his time in the twisty bits. He gains it all back on the straightaways and the fast turns, which seems to be sort of in line with what you expect with the Porsche. Big wiggle there by Harry Conway off the corner, trying to dig and get every little bit, but you'll probably notice on the timing and scoring here that actually hurt him a little bit when they go through the next sector, unless I am just talking complete rubbish, which I may be, but it certainly looked like Ladelma actually gained a little bit there through that section. So such finite little details here, really. I mean, so we've seen Sundstrom just get a little too much curve, and it can completely ruin your race. And this the whole thing. Look at how out of sorts Harry Conway is, Ryan. We've got an upcoming series that we're running together, and we almost entered that thing. Are you sure that would have been a wise decision? Oh no, big mistake here by Jordan Booth. Excellent camera work by Ryan again, finding the accident. Big kerfuffle here, several cars involved, I would imagine, and we're going to see it here. Oh, the McLaren of Jordan Booth going to be side by side with Sundstrom. Is this in the same place almost? Yes, it is. Sundstrom gets by Jordan Booth. What could possibly have been the bother here? We will find out. It's a Zascari, and what has happened? He just got too much curb. Oh, 2 separate incidents, Ryan, is what happened there, and they almost came together in the end.
Yeah, actually, quite the replay reveals a lot more than we initially thought. And yeah, interesting to see there, both JKM and Jordan Booth getting a bit loose coming through the middle of Ascari, and of course that will keep the two of them together, but it will mean that Mikael Sundström does get to move up a couple of places.
Yeah, at this point up front, Ladelma is actually losing a little bit. He lost about a tenth or so on that last lap, and I can tell you 2 laps ago he lost a tenth, so he is losing minutely, I would say, over the lead of Harry Conway. Harry Conway can't believe his luck. He got started on pole. He missed the calamity behind him. A lot of his competitors were involved in battles and spills and thrills, but he has not had any of that so far. And was that Ladelma just flashing our leader as they went by, or was that my eyes playing tricks on me?
No flashing that I can see just yet. You may have caught that though, and in fact, speaking of things that were just caught in the background, you may have just seen Billy Octane's Jag in 4th place at the moment. He's working his way around the field.
That's sort of like a win, really, if you take the Jag out, right? And you finish 4th, that's a win. I mean, but you'd be happy with that, right? If you were forced, I'm not saying Billy was forced, but if I forced you to drive the Jag in this race and you finished 4th, you'd feel pretty good about that.
I'd feel pretty good, but I'd also tell you that I don't want to drive it ever again. As we come into turn 1, Harry Conway has got Ladelma in his rearview mirrors much closer than previously. Ladelma's starting to gain a bit more time on the likes of Harry Conway, but that Porsche is so good out of the corners.
Yeah, I imagined Conway made some sort of mistake in Parabolica or perhaps in Ascari even that allowed him to catch right back up. He was certainly right on the rear wing of him as we have about 8 minutes left in race 2. This is all fantastic fun. I love these little sprint races because it doesn't really get that spread out. And as soon as one race ends, you just fire off another one. You have a 5-minute qualifying session and you go right back at it. Community night, I think, is going to be a hit here with the people, and as it will grow, we'll have more people involved as well. So Ryan, with this community night, I gotta ask you, as our battle for the lead cools off again, do you envision 30+ car grids for community night in the future?
Potentially. It depends on a lot of things. Like I was saying earlier before, the main reason for me hosting these community races is, one, there's, there is demand from the community for something like this, public lobby style races that don't have the concern of trolls or, public lobby turn 1 heroes and the like. So of course, we've thrown this together to see what what kind of attention it gets, but one of the main reasons that I'm running these is because, as you know, Jesse, I'm going to be hosting championships on a Tuesday, in theory. It might possibly be Thursday in the future. It's still not fully 100% nailed down yet, but I'll be hosting championships soon, and Mike Jones had decided that if I'm going to mess around with server files, it's probably best that I mess around with the community races, in which I don't have to worry if I break something.
That's true. The only thing that you'd have to worry about in this race is Harry Conway and Billy Octane coming after you in the comments. They will absolutely do that, and I'll give them your address. But yeah, you saw Harry Conway lose a little bit in the first turn, but again, nothing too crazy there. Going to have about a 1-second lead there or thereabout over Ladelma. This is the actual story right here. This is what I'm talking about. Sundström, who has fought back, he went all the way back to 10th at one point in this race after the opening lap spin, and then he hit the wall a further time, but he's rebounded all the way back to 5th. I would expect nothing else. Don't think he's going to get to Billy, though, in 4th place. I think this will be where he finishes, barring any other off-track excursions, but that's pretty great. You get up through half the field in, what it was, in about 12 minutes or so. That's pretty impressive, and that's exactly what I would expect from Sundström. It's just, I think the gap in front of him is just a little too much, a little too vast to get to Mr. Octane, which is the best name in sim racing. Couple of names. Whoa, big slide. That scares me, Ryan, every time they do that.
Yeah, just a bit, and Bosch in the background obviously losing a lot of time. But just to comment on what you said, one of the best names in sim racing. I mean, to me, it kind of sounds like. I mean, there are quite a few popular real world racing drivers. One of them that comes to mind is Scott Speed, I think it is. Billy Octane just kind of sounds like one of those names. It sounds like one of those. I hate to use the word, but it seems like a very American thing. Because it is mostly Americans that have names like that. But obviously Billy Octane is not American.
Yeah, Billy Octane's Estonian, isn't he?
Yes, he is.
Yeah, I had the pleasure of talking to Billy on several occasions, and I always found it incredibly interesting that he was an Estonian sim racer. And I think to this day, Ryan, he might be the only Estonian sim racer I know, and I think that's really cool. And one thing too, I think, speaking from a point of view of American, and I hail from the land of the cheeseburger. I always find it interesting the grasp of like English that a lot of European countries have. Like, and they always do the same thing too. They always go, "Oh, I'm sorry for my English." It's like, what are you talking about? You speak English better than most Americans and British people that I know. And Billy's one of those guys. He races fast. He races fair, and he loves to have fun. And I mean, I can't remember the last time Billy wasn't in a race we did, but we ride on board Ladelma here, who has closed up the gap to Harry Conway, and what a time to do that. Inside 4 minutes to go here at Monza, and he's right on the back. This is exactly where he wants to be. If he can parlay this into something positive, and just look at that Lexus gain on that Porsche. Absolutely nothing he can do. Porsche's going to go to the inside. Ladelma's going to go to the outside. The Porsche's going to shade him off. Conway is going to have the clear line into the corner, and he's going to get closed up upon at the end of turn one. But my goodness, excellent defensive driving by Conway, and it's afforded him a little bit of a gap. But don't adjust your television screen. That is Zeman in the number 21 McLaren behind him. And remember what I said, the minute you have to defend, the minute you have to fight, you will lose several seconds a lap, because that's just how unforgiving Monza is.
Yeah, just a quick note on what you were saying about Billy being Estonian. I was actually supposed to go back when I was at college, as we see Ladelma get all out of shape after the first Lesmo. I was supposed to go on an exchange trip to Estonia back when I was a college student. Didn't quite happen, unfortunately. There were a few issues in the line that prevented us from making that exchange trip. I won't get into the full political details of why we weren't allowed to go to Estonia, but it was something along the lines of the word Brexit. I'll leave you with that much information. And we never got the chance to go, and I was told that it was an absolutely fantastic country. I've been shown some very nice pictures of the place we were supposed to be going to, and we were supposed to be doing an IT presentation to an Estonian university. It was actually we were meant to be doing like some sort of. It was a presentation about how data and all that works together with technology and all sorts of very interesting stuff. I'll get into it at another day. We'll come back to this conversation, but I was very disappointed to not be able to go to Estonia, because it seemed like such a lovely country, and I'm sure Billy will correct me if it's not. But from what I know, at least, it looks like a lovely place.
I've heard absolutely nothing but positive things about Estonia, and I believe I'm one of the only Americans that can point to it on a map. But I actually can't take full credit for that. I actually owe Truck Simulator the credit for that, is because it's the only reason where I would know where it is. I actually I've known what the flag looks like for a very long time, though. Thanks to television programs here in the States. But I've only ever seen it presented in an incredibly positive way, and it just seems like a lovely place to be and to visit. And I don't know, it's just one of those things. It's like you don't hear sim racers from Estonia very often. As far as I'm aware, Estonia is a fairly small country. But the reason we're rambling, folks, is, by the way, it doesn't look like anybody's going to catch Harry Conway at this point. He's got a 1.2 second lead, give or take, on Ladelma. He actually is under attack from Zeman at this point. If we're looking at the battle, we're looking at the battle for second place. So we just end up rambling on about past experiences as, whoa, who was that? Was that Octane in the background who went incredibly wide? I think it might have been. But yes, stick around for race 3 when we bring up campfire stories. We certainly will, Ryan. But something else I noticed too, as we are going to come across the line, and that's going to be the end of race 2. Harry Conway wins it after a challenge by Ladelma. Will finish second. Zeman is going to take home the final podium spot. Pretty good for them. And the weekend hero, Billy Octane, is going to drive a Jag all the way to 4th. Sundstrom's tough race will end in a 5th. He somehow made it up halfway back up the grid. Bosch, 6th place. Not necessarily the worst race you could ever imagine. Then we have Booth, who had some struggles, it must be said, with his car and potentially some traffic. Come across the line there to finish. And then we also have Hopkins behind him, who was involved in that really early incident that caused some damage on the front of that car. Certainly did not aid him at all. Then we have Holtman in 9th place. He'll be our final finisher. He actually came into pit road at one point and didn't have his limiter on, I suppose, because he got a stop-go penalty for pit infringement. So that's going to be unfortunate for him as well. But race 2, pretty darn close between the top couple.
Go.
Yeah, it is, and as we just take the server down momentarily, we will have it back up in just a moment with the next track. And
while you do that, Ryan, I'll talk. This is the interesting thing, isn't it, really? It's your ability right now to mess with server settings and get it right and know how to do everything that you need to do the Tuesday or Thursday, whatever it would become series. And this is great not only for the community but for you. It's a learning curve for everybody. And you know, and me personally, I'm just happy to be here. I'm happy that it's Tuesday evening or afternoon, depending on where you are in the world, and I got racing to watch, and I'm here with my mate Ryan Gill, and we get to talk about Estonia, and I like that. It's nice, chill little Tuesday evening, and we're glad to have you guys with us in the process of that. And I hope you like this. I hope you like this. A little bit different than what we would all normally do, with a bunch of small races for fun, and I really enjoy that. Is this true, Ryan, that we are going to Spa-Francorchamps now?
Give it all you got.
Yes, we are. And as I've immediately joined here, my eyes have been drawn to the logo that Billy Octane has for his car selection here today. He is he is in the Rex, the Gallardo, and I'm pretty sure Billy Octane's just doing this for us now.
If our eagle-eyed viewers will have noticed that in chat, Harry Conway posted, "Is that the Rex?" And yes, Mr. Conway, that is indeed the Rex. And this is an interesting thing. A bunch of us RCI people were messing around with cars in the infancy of getting our servers together, and one of the little things we did is we brought some outlandish cars here and raced them all against each other. And there were a few of our, I would call them sort of high-profile sim racing guests that were with us, and a lot of them brought the Rex because this track does you can be semi-competitive in it here. Ryan, what do you call it? The no-wing strategy? The wing zero strategy?
I mean, that's just any Lamborghini setup that you want to run realistically, but yeah, you could run zero wing around here, but you'd probably feel it a hell of a lot in the corners, I can tell you that much. And Jesse, we've both got to own up to this one. I've just been looking in the Tuesday Community Lobbies chat, and Mr. Mr. Bosch, who was in the last race, has actually come in and said he's not German, so his name isn't pronounced Bosch, it's pronounced Boss.
Like,
So,
like boss, B-O-S-S, like that.
yeah, like Hugo Boss.
Well, in that case, that is our mistake, and thank you for correcting us on that, Mr. Boss. Then, as it turns out, the only reason I pronounce that name like that is because we have a tool company in America that was founded by Germans back in the day called Bosch, and that's just how I grew up saying it. But my apologies, and I'll commit that to memory, I think.
Right, and now that we are back into practice session, looking at Zeman in the lovely black and red McLaren at the moment, the number 21. This is a car that, I have to be honest, this is one of the best looking cars I've ever seen. Not just livery, just the shape of the car. This is honestly one of the best cars I have ever seen.
Do you know what, Ryan? I think it's very divisive, the 720, because I know a lot of people that I've talked to, especially in the RCI community as well, that just absolutely hate the way this car looks. They hate the way the wing comes up over the back of the car. They hate how like squatty and narrow it looks. They hate the rear taillights. They don't get why it has to be so. I've had one person that shall remain nameless comment that this car looks like it's melted. It looks like a melted SUV is what they said to me, and I didn't believe that, but since I've been told that, I can't unsee a melted SUV. But I personally like it. I'm in your camp, Ryan. I love it. I think it looks it's the most aggressive looking car on the grid, and it looks fast when it's sitting still. I could not agree more.
On other controversial topics, I will also say that this car, as it goes massively wide through Blanchimont because it can't steer to save its life, I also think that this is one of the best looking cars I've ever seen. The Rex, or as its road-going version, is the Lamborghini Gallardo. I absolutely adore the Gallardo. It's one of the first supercars, or kind of sports kind of cars, that I ever saw. And this is a car that for me has had a little bit of a special place in my heart, because I used to see one around the area in Spain where I used to live. There was one that frequently used to drive past during the summer months, and I grew very attached to seeing this car as Billy Octane is finding out exactly how difficult this car is to drive around Spa.
Ooh, my heart skipped a beat on that one. I thought he was going straight into the wall.
This car, if no one has ever driven it, is an absolute monster. It can't steer to save its life. And if you've ever wondered what understeer looks like, you need to drive this car. You will never complain about understeer ever again after you've driven this car. And actually, as I go on that, if you are interested in punishing yourself by driving the Rex for some races, we actually have a Rex Cup series at the moment, which is going to be starting on Thursday. I think the sign-ups for that close sometime this week or next week. But we are going to be running a Rex Cup here at RCI, so do make sure to check out that. If you don't have anything to do on Thursday evening and you plan on maybe doing some racing, well, maybe you can come and do some racing in the Rex. And if you maybe do have a Thursday evening that's free and you don't fancy racing the Rex, which I imagine a lot of people won't, you can come by and watch the stream, because we will be live streaming all the races here at RCI TV on YouTube.
Yes. My favorite thing about Ryan, whenever he's giving a promo, he does the same thing I do. When I'm not 100% sure of what I'm promoting or what time it starts, my voice gets really high like that too. But I think you're spot on. I can't wait for that. The Rex Cup, that just sounds awesome. We're thinking about doing a Trofeo Cup, and we're like, nah, go straight for the Rex, because the Rex is the most interesting car that you can drive. It's also the most hilarious and also the most deadly too. But it's going to be really fun. I hope you guys show up and show out for that. As qualifying begins, you're going to get 5 minutes to run a lap, and literally that's what I mean. You will get an lap around this joint, so you might as well make it a good one. This is the only scenario ever, Ryan, where I would ever take a poll against any of these guys.
Perhaps so, and on the topic that we were going of the 720S being one of the best looking cars, and then my little love story about Lamborghinis and Gallardos, this is also a car that I think a lot of people do love in ACC. It's just unfortunately not the best car ever. The Aston Martin V12 Vantage, and I don't think I overstep a boundary by saying this is probably the best sounding GT3 car ever. Just have a listen whilst this comes by. Oh, the bumblebee noise that comes off of this car. Harry Conway, of course, running the Aston V12 in a very Aston Martin-like livery. The lime green with the red accents. Livery that I myself am very, very keen on. Obviously, we'd love to talk liveries here at RCI. In fact, we could probably have an entire podcast dedicated to ACC liveries. And that actually does remind me that we did actually release the first episode of a podcast yesterday, RCI Radio, and that is available on YouTube, soon to be available on Spotify and iTunes as well. So go give that a listen if you haven't already. And give us some feedback, or maybe some community questions, where if we have some time next week when we record the podcast, if you've got any questions for any of us, we can do our best to answer them.
And if you watch episode 1, if that's a thing you do this evening, if you watch episode 1, we know that something was going on with my microphone, and no, it did not sound like that when we recorded it, and no, we didn't realize that was going to be an issue. And we also thought a little bit that it could be fixed rather easily. Whatever it was, we could not even replicate. Actually, I take that back. We did actually finally, Ryan, replicate what that was, but we know that was an issue. We have already done some testing, and we have rectified that, so that will not be a problem in the future. But apologies for that. Sometimes things happen, and hey, you want to know what? I'd rather it happen in the pilot episode than episode 300.
Yeah, we're also going to work on making the podcast slightly shorter, because I think 2 hours is definitely too long. Although, if anyone ever got the chance to see the raw cut, they'd probably think to myself, my word, you've tried to fit 3 episodes into one. As we get underway with the first, the only laps of qualifying that these guys are going to run, so they better make sure they count, as we're watching here Harry Conway coming over Radion in the Aston Martin V12, and the sound of this car coming to the fullest as we go through the mountains here.
Yeah, I like these races in a way, because it's not like serious where everyone is trying to be, the absolute fastest that there is. This is a great time, these races, to test some things out, to have a little fun, let your hair down, as they say. And I think you're seeing that. We got the old Aston in here, we got the Rex, and it's still going to be just as compelling to watch in a race, honestly, for me. Like, I like this just as much as actually watching everybody pile into a Ferrari or a, whatever vehicle it may be for whatever track. It's just nice to see the old girl out there going around. There's something nostalgic about that old Aston V12. Like I said, there will be just the single lap of qualifying for these guys. One shot qualifying by default because of the 5-minute qualifying. Going to be a 20-minute race here to settle it all. We have back 11 cars on the grid. Most of the names are the same. Some of them are different, of course. So far, we have had Mr. Sundstrom winning the first race, and Harry Conway pictured here winning race number 2. Will there be a repeat winner this week, or will it be 3 different winners in 3 different races? We will have to see. Right now, nobody has actually set a lap at the moment, except right now, Steven fastest with a 2:19.6. Does he get beat out by Harry Conway? No, he does not. Harry Conway 1.4 seconds off the lead. And that's how that's going to stand right there. It's Booth going to come in at 2.7 seconds off the lead. Most other drivers in the pit road didn't actually set a lap or invalidated their lap. I'd imagine it's a fair amount of both. I think Jones is still out on the grid. Actually, he is not. Everybody in chat appreciating the sound of that V12 as they get ready to go racing here for race number 3.
Yep, third race that we're going to be doing now, and we actually have 2 McLarens on the front row. It's going to be Zeman and Sundstrom lining up side by side, and actually Sundstrom in the very nice is that Team Jensen car, isn't it? The Jensen Button car that James Baldwin is actually going to be racing in British GT and GT World Challenge Europe this year. Really excited to see how James Baldwin does in a really in a real series, in a real car as well. So of course he was the World's Fastest Gamer 2 winner, I believe it was. So he is mega quick, and it's going to be super exciting to see how he does in a real race. But we're keeping it here in the virtual world right now, because we have a 20-minute race at Spa coming up right now. Billy Octane starting all the way back in 7th in the Rex.
Yeah, usually this is when drivers get nervous, but I think a lot of these drivers are just having a big smile on their face, especially the driver in front of and behind the Rex at this time, and so is the driver in front of and behind that V12 Aston Martin. But as Ryan said, we got 2 McLarens up front. This is going to be real interesting. Zeman, our third different pole sitter here tonight, is going to have Sundstrom right behind him. Sundstrom is probably going to be keen on not having another early lap 1 issue that set him back at Monza and took him completely out of the fight. For Harry Conway, it's going to be a bit about survival. He knows that his car isn't quite as fast, and the green flag goes down. They're going to go single file for the first 3, but the third and fourth row is going to be side by side as they all fight for position up the hill and the fight to get single file. They all just about do it. There's a fight for what will eventually be 8th place. Who's going to win that between Hopkins and Octane? It's going to be Octane, obviously, because he's running that Ryan Gill Specialized no wing.
AJ Jones having to defend from the Lexus of Ladelma. Ladelma sticking to the Lexus that served him so very well at Monza, but it is Zeman that leads from Sundstrom, and then Harry Conway in 3rd. Billy Octane, of course, in the Rex at the moment. He's going to be struggling around here, that is for sure. I think for Billy Octane, this is going to be a race of defending more than it is a race of trying to get overtakes. But maybe he can prove me wrong, and maybe he can bring that Gallardo all the way up to the top 5, or maybe even the podium places. But right now he's having to defend from Holtman in the 33 Porsche.
Yes, indeed. The Rex is coming under immense fire for everybody else. Of course, the Rex doesn't have the turning ability or anything of the other based on its downforce. It cannot turn, and it understeers wildly, as it is going to do that right there, and it's going to get him in the dirt, but he won't have enough. Holtman will not have enough to get around him, and they're going to settle back down. And this is when the Rex comes into its own. Get on that straightaway as it will begin to pull away. That's what got him into position in the first place. Up front is speaking of up front, there's a fight for up front. Zeman is under fire from Sundstrom. Sundstrom would like to make it 2 out of 3. He would consider that a successful day. He's going to go to the outside. He's going to make sure that if he can pull up beside him, he's going to have a shot. He can't quite do it. He can't quite get there. Oh, there's going to be an accident. Billy Octane is not Billy Octane, excuse me, Harry Conway, I should say, gets spun out of the middle. Let's see this on the replay, exactly what happens here. They come through the elbow. I suspect there's going to be a bit of a bump and run here down into the final chicane. Am I correct? We'll know in a matter of seconds, and it's going to be Exactly that. Aston on Aston violence, and that's not what you want to see. There has been a death in the family, and a bell tolls for the V12.
Yeah, Harry Conway unfortunately getting taken out. I think that was actually AJ Jones in the 70 Aston Martin, and I think AJ has, yes, he has let Harry Conway back through, so despite unfortunate accident there between the two Aston Martins, AJ has allowed Harry Conway to go back through, you know, admitting guilt, saying, that was my fault, my bad, you take the place back, sorry for the loss of places. But up at the front here, it is McLaren versus McLaren. It's Zeman versus Sundstrom, 21 versus 22. This is shaping up really nicely.
Yeah, it certainly is. This is a battle for first place. This is what we want to see. It's going to be interesting to see if Sundstrom can keep applying the pressure and Zeman can keep answering the call. He's already been pressured a few times. Of course, you get fewer laps around here as Sundstrom is going to try and go around the outside. It's going to be incredibly difficult. He is just pouring on the pressure to Zeman. Zeman, cool as ice, not making any mistakes. He may not have quite the outright pace that Sundstrom has, but realistically, that doesn't really matter as long as you're relatively similar on pace. You can get away with that, and I think that's what we're seeing here with Zeman early. But, you know, he's got 16 minutes he's going to have to defend. Ryan, as an expert defender, you defended your position for 40 minutes the other night. You're sweating, aren't you, in that case? Like, you're having to put your car exactly where it needs to be at all times, as he's going to try and go to the outside again. I don't think it's going to work this time either. But talk to the people about defending. It's an art form. It's really hard to do lap after lap, but do you get comfortable with it, like the battle, after a while?
After a while, you start to learn where the driver behind you is gaining on you, and where they're much better than you, and you start to learn how you defend into each corner. I, for example, was defending against Billy Octane at the Bathurst Night Owl race, and Billy Octane coming up the mountain was so incredibly fast in the Bentley, but I knew that as long as I stuck to the inside line coming into the second corner, there was no way that Billy Octane was going to go around the outside unless, you know, he pulled off a absolutely unbelievable overtake. And the same was true for the last corner as well. He would catch me into the last corner, but I knew that if I was putting him on the outside line, he would struggle to get past. As you see, Mikael Sundstrom just took a bit of a Tokyo drift there through Lake Con, and losing a bit of time, meaning Liddell was going to gain some time on him. But yeah, defending, you get a bit used to it, but when you've got someone on the back of you for so long, the pressure does start to get to you. And I'll always say it, it's easier to attack than it is to defend.
It's easier to attack than to defend. That's very interesting. I think you're absolutely right. I would rather defend, though, because I find the person defending has all the power, because if the person attacking hits you, it's all their fault. And I always liked being the guy who got crashed and rather than the one crashing people.
The thing is, I think with being the one that attacks, you're the one that's always pressuring, you know, the person ahead into making a mistake, and I think that is a lot of where a lot of overtaking is done that way now, in terms of, you know, when we talk about good overtakes. There are good overtakes, there are great overtakes, and then there are overtakes that don't get talked about, but it's that ability to pressure someone into a mistake that doesn't really get mentioned often enough, I don't think, as we look a bit further down the field at the moment, and Billy Octane is still holding off cars behind him. He's coming up to Blanchimont at the moment, and look at how much this car will struggle through Blanchimont at the moment.
He's actually getting touched. He's getting moved out of the way a little bit, but it's not going to matter because the ultimate pace of the Rex is too much to overcome. But he's going to overshoot the corner, but that's not going to matter either because the double overshoot of the McLaren and the Mercedes is actually going to give him way. And look in the background, it's going to be Harry Conway in the V12. Aston Martin is actually going to gain a spot. Thank you very much, he says. That's all incredible. You know what I'm thinking here? Billy Octane is the elderly Peugeot driver in the outside lane that nobody can get around at this point.
No, not just that, I am absolutely amazed that Simon Hopkins didn't hit anyone in all that. as Billy Octane cuts Radion for probably the 4th time this race, and coming towards the end of the Kemmel Straight now, Billy Octane is having to defend for his life. His teammate Harry Conway is actually going to be catching up to the back of him now, and actually a little bit of information that you probably don't know, Jesse, that Billy Octane let me in on just an hour ago. Did you know that Mikhail Sundstrom is actually going to be joining Billy Octane and Harry Conway for the 6 Hours of Barcelona?
No, I didn't know that, but I'll tell you one thing, and I'll give you boys some advice right here, and this is absolutely free. Don't make each other mad. Now's not the time. But, yeah, that's actually fantastic. That's a team that I would not want to have to race against or mess with. Meanwhile, here we go with Harry Conway, who continues to make up positions. Remember, Conway got unsanctimoniously spun out of a top sort of 5-ish position earlier, and is making his way back up through the field in that V12 Aston Martin with the most beautiful sound in all of motorsports, in my opinion. The last car that I thought sounded anywhere near as good as that was the Mazda 787B, but I'm old, so leave me alone.
I was going to say, for some of our younger audience, they probably don't entirely know what that car is, so we'll leave Jesse with some of his antiques, as they are. To some of us, and we'll look back towards the race in which Harry Conway now has 1.7 seconds between him and his teammate Billy Octane. Of course, both of them in slightly meme-ish cars, although Harry Conway is in the car that is much easier to drive, and I don't think anyone would have any problems disputing that. As coming into the bus stop chicane now, they actually come out of the bus stop chicane. How much closer is Harry Conway going to be to the likes of Billy Octane? Well, just under 7/10 of a second, gained 1 second in the final sector on that Gallardo. That kind of just shows you the pace that the V12 has over the likes of the Rex.
Yeah, it's absolutely true. I think it'll be another lap or so, and I think Conway will be by Octane, but I don't think Octane's going to let him take it. That's one thing I always admired about Billy, is his ability to put his car where he needs to put it and just be annoying. Certainly you can attest to that, Ryan, of Billy being annoying towards you for several hours at a time. But half of the race gone, and Zeman up front. Sundstrom is still 6/10 back. That battle hasn't gone away, and nearly a big collision between Conway and Octane doesn't come to blows, but very nearly does. You'll see Conway here avoid contact here by just spearing off a little bit. That almost went wrong, but doesn't. That's good driving by Harry Conway to not have that end in tears. And game on. You get to try it again. Though if I was Octane looking in the mirror, I might have soiled myself a little bit.
Yeah, you were talking about, guys, this is not the time to hit each other, and then Harry Conway goes for a send it on Ryan racing move like he did on me at the Bathurst Night Owl race. And just like he did with the send on me, he didn't hit the car directly in front of him. On that occasion, he did actually hit the car even further in front of him, but on this occasion, no one for Harry to crash into, but he is clearly being held up here by Billy Octane. The question I'm wondering now is, does Billy Octane play the team game here, or does he say, you know what, I kind of want to have some fun in the Rex. My teammate wants to get past me. I'm going to make this as difficult as possible now.
I absolutely think it's the latter, Ryan. I think you make it as difficult as possible because these are community night races. You've specifically told these drivers, come out, have fun, no pressure, just enjoy it. And they've shown that they're going to show up in a Rex in a V12 Aston Martin that's outdated, and they are going to race them against each other. They're loving this. They're grinning ear to ear. But I tell you one thing, Octane does not want his teammate to get by him. He wants to prove a point here in the Rex that he can be really quick in it. And if he can hold on to this, and I think he will, he'll have the preferred corner down into turn 1 hairpin, and I think that's going to be all he needs to get back in front, further frustrating his teammate Harry Conway, who had the pass made. This is brilliant stuff as the Mercedes gets a little bit squirrely there, gets it back in line. They're going to be 3 wide behind them as Billy comes across the nose of the V12. 3 wide. Boys, this does not work. You better settle this out. They don't settle it out, and one of the cars, the Aston Martin, the V8 Aston Martin, goes sliding and slams on the brakes to keep from there being a big accident. Holy cow.
how many times do you see cars touch going into Eau Rouge and no one comes out in the wall? Incredibly impressive there. I think that was from AJ Jones to avoid going into the wall. And I think maybe just a bit of a racing incident there between those cars. But Harry Conway is still stuck behind Billy
he left the door
Octane.
open. Oh, but he closed the door. I tell you what, there's going to be a racing incident here in about 5 minutes between teammates, and they're going to be not too happy. But holy cow, I cannot believe that Octane has held off Conway to this point. Meanwhile, by the way, up front, this battle is happening right now. This is the battle for the lead between the two McLarens. They are nose to tail at this point, and there is nothing in it. Actually, Ladelma is also in this battle as well. Zeman has successfully, for about 14 minutes, defended Sundstrom, but that has led Ladelma right back in this. Ladelma was really nowhere in this picture earlier, but there he is very clearly in this fight. We have battles everywhere here in the final 6 minutes or so. Sundstrom just doing what I expect of Sundstrom. Ryan, he's being very smart about this. He's not going to wreck somebody to get by them, really. I mean, obviously he made that, there was a bit of a mistake at Monza in that race, but again, that's a mistake. That wasn't in any way anything meant maliciously or over aggressive. It was just, you know, sometimes curbs get in the way. And meanwhile here, Conway is going to get again pulled to the outside. Can he keep the position? He might have the position here, but I don't think it's going to matter because the big bad Rex pulls off the corner and he's still behind him.
I can't believe what I'm seeing here. Billy Octane is defending Harry Conway in the Aston V12. This is probably some of the best racing I have seen between these two. And of all the cars that it could be in, it is these two cars of all choices. You know what I'm thinking, seeing this at the moment? We need to have a Rex V12 car.
Oh my goodness! If I am Harry Conway here, I have some choice words for Billy Octane's mother at this point, and Billy would not appreciate that. It's just that kind of battle. You know, they're loving it though. They get to race each other in these completely different cars. They obviously picked this for a reason. They're like, okay, you're gonna go ridiculous. I'm gonna go ridiculous. And here we go. Oh, there's gonna be a touch. There's gonna be a touch, and that's gonna send Conway off wide a second time. And it's not gonna matter because they're still gonna be nose to tail even after contact. And I don't think that contact is really going to affect aerodynamics or anything. It was fairly light, but reset and game on. You're running out of laps, lads. You only have about 2 more this time by.
Yeah, they're not going to have much time left as the battle in front really hasn't lessened at all. Mikhail Sundstrom still pressuring Lubomir Zeman at the moment. And Ladelma pretty much just sitting there waiting to pick up the pieces of any potential accident here.
That's smart.
I've just seen the delta between Billy Octane and Harry Conway go down to 0.0, and as we come back here, Harry Conway is still trying to go around the outside. He's going to have the inside. If he's not got the pace to do it, the Rex is holding on for another lap.
If I'm listen, Harry, if you have the race on in the background, you can hear me. You have my permission to punt him on the final corner of the final lap. I mean, at this point, you've done everything you can. Nothing is your fault. The Rex is going to go wide. That's going to set him up. And meanwhile, right here we have Ladelma, who has a potential shot at taking the spot away from Sundstrom's second place. He doesn't do it. He falls in line. He's going to take a look down into turn 1. Does he have the brakes? Can he get the car turned? No, he cannot. He was very conservative. Oh, and Ladelma is going to get all sorts of sideways on the inside line. You have to worry about that. And then we go back to 6th place, and this battle does not... This is just going to resume. They're going to be side by side coming out of the hairpin. I think the Rex is going to win the battle down into turn 1. And once again, further frustrating Conway. If I'm Conway, I'm biting at the steering wheel. Look at Conway. Get right up behind him. He's going to try and take the inside. He swerves back to the outside. Doesn't quite get it done there. And absolutely nothing happens. But my God, I'm angry if I'm Conway. I'm a teammate or not, I'm angry at this point.
I think we've seen them go side by side in the bus stop chicane for 3 consecutive laps now. It's going absolutely mental. And Billy Octane is still cutting Radeon because the Gallardo can't take that corner flat. And the Aston Martin V12, well, might not be able to take it flat, but it can probably take it much better than the Gallardo can. They're going to come down to Lecombe again, side by side. It's going to be Conway on the outside. Conway's going to miss his braking point, and he's going to go wide. They're not going to have any contact this time round.
There's cars behind them, caught them. There's cars behind them. Wait, are those the leaders? Those are not the leaders, are they? They can't be.
No,
those are the other cars in the
that
fight.
is Simon Hopkins and AJ Jones. In fact, catching up to the back of these. Simon Hopkins has probably got onto the back of this and thought, Jesus, lads, you still haven't sorted this out.
Oh, and they're still not going to sort it out. Conway once again see it side by side with Octane. It's still not going to settle out. They're still going to be nose to tail. But the problem for Conway is now that he's been caught by the lads behind him. This has completely changed the complexion of their battle. How will this factor in? As once again, here we go again. The Rex goes wide because it doesn't have downforce. Outside to Conway. Can Conway cut the corner enough to get by him? He looks like he might actually have the move done, and he does finally. Harry Conway gets the move done. The only problem with that, Harry, is that there's a straightaway coming up, so watch out. Oh, and the Rex goes really deep into the corner. Nothing untoward happens, but let's see, does he catch him on the straight?
We're about to see the dive bomb of the century here from Billy Octane on Harry Conway. He's about to get some revenge for Killian Ryan Meenan in the Bathurst Night Owl race the other day.
Oh, he's right
and
there.
I can tell you right now that this Gallardo is a missile in the straight line, and he's going to be furious that he was way too close to the back of Harry Conway. Going to come into the braking zone. Billy Octane's going to have to try and defend from Simon Hopkins. The Merc is going to go way too deep into the bus stop chicane, and there's going to be a slight...
he's going to turn him! He's going to turn his teammate in the final corner! Harry Conway goes spinning for the second time in this race, and he's spun around. Oh, and he's going to wait, and look at this, the sportsmanship of Billy Octane to wait. But here we go again. Has the run here into the corner, and he's just going to brake really hard and pull right up to the back of Conway, and everybody else falls by the wayside, and he's just going to get into him. He gets onto the gas a little earlier than Harry does, and it just spins him around. Octane realizes exactly what he's done. He's going to sit on the side of the apron. He's going to wait a little bit for his teammate, his good friend, and here we go. The race will resume. They don't care where anybody else is. They only care where each other is. This is going to be, gentlemen, the final lap of the race, and thank God for that. I am lightheaded. This has been crazy.
Yeah, and the big news is that despite all the chaos we've been watching, Mikael Sundstrom has actually managed to get past Lubomir Zeman at some point during all of that calamity. Ladelma still in third place, hanging on to the back of these two McLarens. Realistically, this is the last opportunity that Zeman is going to have if he wants to retake the lead of the race for the win. And he is actually going to have a chance as Sundstrom is going to be forced wide. And now this is going to give Ladelma a chance. They're going to go 3 wide coming up towards Blanchimont. You can't go 3 wide in Blanchimont, guys. There is not enough tarmac for everyone there. The Lexus is going to be shuffled back a bit. Sundstrom is going to maintain the lead. Boss gets a drive-through penalty for exceeding track limits. Lubomir Zeman is going to lose out on a second place coming up towards the bus stop chicane. Or is he? He's going to have a go. No, not quite close enough for the Lexus. But then it's going to be Mikael Sundstrom is going to win the third race of the evening. Second for him. Ladelma will take second, and Zeman will unfortunately carry third after an incredible defensive race. I'm a bit out of breath.
Ryan, I need to lie down a while. Can we not do these Tuesday races anymore? This is... Oh my god. I'm going to need a copy of that replay file for my own personal satisfaction, I think.
Yeah, it's going to be Holtman in 4th. Boss comes home for 5th, although he will get a 30-second time penalty added on to the end of the race, which means Jordan Booth will finish 6th, Simon Hopkins 7th. Harry Conway will cruise over the line with Billy Octane alongside him. They will come home in 9th and 8th, 9th and 10th.
That was not in anger. That was not in anger. That was friendly. That was like a chest bump. That was friendly.
Yeah, they'll have a little bit of a love tap towards the end, and it will be Peter Beckers actually in the Porsche. He's going to come towards and he's going to fill out for 11th place, but As Mike Jones has just said in the chat, what a race.
Yeah, I can't believe that. Actually, I take that back. I can't believe that. That's why I'm a big advocate for things like this. I believe in races like this where it's just for fun because I think it brings out the best and the worst in drivers. You have two guys out there in identical cars who put on an excellent show, and you have two guys out there in completely opposite cars that could not be more different and meant for completely different things. And they both had a good race, and they both put on a show. And at the end of the day, I'm satisfied with that result. That was incredible by Sundstrom to get by Zeman. Unfortunate for Zeman, he goes all the way back to third. Ladelma is also the big beneficiary of that. He was very patient and finished second in the race. And then, of course, you had Holtman in the Porsche. He had a quiet race. Jones also the same thing. Booth, of course, in sixth. But you get all the way back to the Conway Octane battle. I can't believe that. Just excellently raced by all the guys out there. And, sometimes you have little love taps, things go wrong, but you'd rather it happen in a community race. But my goodness, guys, what a show.
Yeah, it was absolutely brilliant. And that is the third race of the night concluded. We will be switching over to our fourth track of the evening, and I'm actually going to throw a bit of a curveball.
Just a fantastic race that was. So Ryan, how many did you plan to do today?
I was initially planning to do at least 4. So we're going to be moving on to
otherwise disposed. I see him fidgeting with something. He's seems a bit. The last time I looked like that, folks, I was trying to jam a 8-track into a cassette deck. So he's obviously working on something over there. Of course, Ryan Gill running the servers and the stream tonight, bringing you the excellent camera angles. I am just here by accident, actually. I'm Jesse Lee. I'm helping Ryan take a breath every now and then. Not that we did get much breathing done in that previous race. It's absolutely immaculate as far as the racing goes. And I don't mind, personally, just a personal note about me, I don't mind a little bit of contact. Every race needs its own drama from somewhere, and sometimes racing doesn't necessarily go the way that you expect it to. Sometimes you get excellent finishes like that. Ryan, are you back?
I am back, Jesse, and
Green light. Go, go, go.
I think our fourth track for this evening is going to excite some people.
Well, it's certainly going to excite me because I enjoy this place, and I don't know what to expect here. I know what I would assume is going to happen, but I don't know. I expect Sundstrom to go hide up at the front, but I'm not sure that's going to be the case because Bathurst affords many opportunities to have an incident, and certainly we've seen over the years, and especially in our time in ACC, that anything that is possible that can happen will happen around this joint. Just a few minutes here, folks, to shake down the car, get the cars in line, make sure you kind of understand where your baseline is. Not enough time to run more than 2 laps in this qualifying session, it must be said. Then what will occur after that is a 5-minute qualifying session. Again, enough time to get 2, maybe 3 laps if you leave immediately. Still more than you get at Circuit Spa-Francorchamps. Then it will be a 20-minute race around the mountain. And there's always something about the mountain I always liked, is that it always delivers action. I've just been alerted that there's a technical problem that we are having. I can't hear Ryan anymore. Ryan, are you there?
No, I am here. I was explaining the technical problem to Mike Jones. But no, I am most definitely here.
Oh, my apologies if I was talking over you. I could not hear you.
Yeah, so we've got the race at Bathurst now. See here at Mount Panorama for this is going to be the fourth one. We'll see if this is we'll see if we get if we get over 10 people. I think we'll do one more after this one. Don't want to run this too late past 10 o'clock my time, obviously, because we usually run these streams for about a couple of hours, unless they're a much longer race. So we don't want to keep these going too long. We have had some very good racing here tonight, though. It has to be said.
No, we absolutely have. I mean, right from the first race, it's been absolutely fantastic to watch that first race and to have what we have seen. Again, I think it's just a testament to short sprint races and sort of the community aspect where there's not like any pressure. The only pressure you put on is the pressure you put on yourself. But I kind of always enjoyed that kind of thing. I think it brings out the best in drivers and it brings out the fun side. I mean, we're here to have fun, and there's nothing wrong with having serious competition, but there's also nothing wrong with just having a laugh, either having a bit of fun, and that's what we're doing here this evening. And while we do that and wait for practice to end and qualifying to start, I want to talk about Ryan Gill for a second. First of all, round of applause. Fantastic guy. Runs a lot of the broadcast and other elements here. Also has a brand new podcast out that he is the producer for. Something else you guys at home might not know about Ryan Gill, other than being named after the most important thing in any Final Fantasy game. He's also an expert chef, as it turns out. He's really good at putting together exquisite dishes and exquisite looking dishes, Ryan. So what's on deck for the rest of this week as far as like planned meals? Like what are we doing? Are we having like a sort of like a fillet of fish with some kind of like lemon sauce or something?
I mean, salmon is very much on the menu this weekend, potentially. I know Mike Jones loved the salmon parcels that I sent him. I sent him a picture. I didn't send him the salmon parcels.
Because that would have been messy, yes.
Yeah, and obviously in these trying times, don't want to be sending food to each other across the world. I mean, definitely not. Yeah, so maybe some salmon stuff. I actually had chicken in white wine. No, it wasn't white wine. It was mushroom sauce. I had chicken with mushroom sauce and rice for dinner tonight. That was very nice, actually. And the night before, I had some I think it was chicken fillets that we had with chips. Just this bit more basic one there for you. But I had a bit of lasagna and meatballs last week as well. So yeah, there've been some nice things on the menu lately.
Do you know what my favorite? Wasn't just chatting crap. I was actually serious. You justified what I was saying. I also find it interesting, Ryan. Could you tell me the difference between a dumpling and a parcel?
I will in just a moment, though, Jesse, because it seems like I seem to have lost connection to the server briefly.
I can see this, yes. But yeah, I would look at your salmon parcels, and I would assume those are dumplings. But I don't. I think there's a difference, but I'm not sure what it may be. There's got to be on a very basic level a difference. Oh yes, it doesn't look like the server crashed. Just looked like we had a momentary lapse in communication there.
Yeah, everything seems to be back up and running now. Apologies for that, not entirely sure. So if you could repeat your question, Jesse.
Oh no, I was just asking, what's the difference between a parcel and a dumpling? Because visually they look identical to me, but I'm sure there's something fundamentally different about them.
Yeah, I mean, well, the thing is with a dumpling is like a dumpling and a parcel are they're kind of made out of different materials. Well, I mean, they not really, but I mean, the way the way that the for example the parcels the kind of pastry that the parcels are done in is you're kind of wrapping the fish or whatever you have in it. You can have parcels of anything in it. You know you're wrapping the fish in kind of pastry that is like the kind of pastry you'd find on a sausage roll, for example. A dumpling is it's a lot like, well, you can get soft dumplings, but dumplings are much more solid. You know, kind of like with dumplings, for example, obviously you typically have like a dumpling roll, and then you have meat underneath it. You cook them together, and so the dumplings kind of settle on the top. So like dumplings are a lot more kind of I'm not entirely sure what the word is for it, but like for example, like parcels are much more like a packaging to whatever you have inside, and a dumpling is kind of it's just kind of like a complementary thing you have that cooks alongside whatever you've got underneath it, which is usually like a type of mince or something.
If you are just now tuning in, it will take some explaining. This is RCI Community Night. It's ran by Ryan Gill, and it's a more relaxed sort of thing. Yes, we are about sim racing. Yes, we are talking about salmon parcels, if that makes your mouth water. But that's what this is all about. It's a more relaxed Tuesday evening with the lads. We're just out here having a little bit of fun, doing a bit of racing. Qualifying 2.5 minutes to go here. Everyone's going to get one really good lap in here, I reckon. And we are talking about food, and back to salmon parcels for just a moment. We would never call them that in America. If you called a package a parcel here, that's a good way to get immigration at your door, I would imagine. But yeah, we would have to call them salmon packages, I think, Ryan, here in America. Otherwise, I don't think it would work quite as well. I don't think anybody would understand what a parcel is, despite the fact that a parcel is a parcel.
So out of curiosity, because in the UK this is often a conversation that, you know, there are many things that British people disagree on, because we love to disagree with each other, and I'm sure a lot of people already know that. But for you know, if you had like a breakfast, you know, you can get obviously like sausages or bacon in obviously like some burger buns. Now, I'm curious to see, do Americans call that a roll or a cup?
Well, are you referring to a traditional bacon buddy is what
Yes.
you're referring to? Okay. So, first of all, that's something only being in the UK that I picked up. We would never call it that. But we would just call it a sandwich. It'd be a bacon sandwich.
Interesting.
We would not reference specifically what roll it's
Because
on.
English people have this knack of, if you disagree with what we call something, then you're immediately categorized into a section of people that we call disabled, usually, mentally.
I feel like you're a bit nicer than what they actually call it.
Well, I might be softening up the actual term that is used, just because
yeah.
even though this is a more casual stream, I will refrain from using,
Of course.
some of that language on stream, as Bart Matcher is currently the fastest car on track, 202.9. Harry Conway slightly behind in Sunstorm in the BMW. But yeah, quickly back onto things that British people call each other and disagree with. One of the other things that British people can never decide on, and it's something that I feel a lot, is for British people, well, most British people, there are two parts to the UK. There is the North and the South. Now, there is a section of the UK called the Midlands, and you could probably guess that it's located in the middle of the country. Now, anyone who's from the Midlands, or lives in the Midlands, will tell you that the Midlands is in the middle of the country. Anyone who lives north of Leeds will tell you that anything south of Leeds is the south of the country and the Midlands doesn't exist. And anyone who lives south of Watford will basically tell you that anything north of Watford is the north and the Midlands doesn't exist either.
That's actually very similar to a problem we have in the United States, where none of us really agree where the Midwest starts. Some people say the Midwest starts at Kansas. Some people say the Midwest starts at Arkansas. Some people claim that the Mountain West region, which is again a different time zone, is still the Midwest. We have a very similar argument about that, and it all depends on where you are. I actually have quite a few friends from the Mountain West area of the United States, and they were taught in school completely differently to what I was taught for what was where the Midwest began and ended and stuff like that. They're all taught that they are part of the West Coast, and we were taught that they are part of the Midwest. So that's just a further disagreement there. I think that's international language of just not agreeing. It is going to be Matcha on pole in the 404 Bentley. Nice for him to show up and show out this evening. It's actually going to be Ladelma who is going to take the second spot away from Harry Conway. Sundstrom knocked all the way back to fourth. Jones in fifth place. Booth sixth. Becker's in seventh. It's going to be Chadwick eighth. Holtman in ninth, and Boss in the 10th position. 10 cars making the starting grid for this race. It's going to be a fantastic 20 minutes here at the Bathurst Raceway. I love this track. It's going to be interesting to see this track not absolutely packed full of cars, but I'm guaranteed for all 10 of these guys, it's still going to feel like it is.
Yeah, this is a track where you're following anyone around here, and you've immediately got thoughts of, oh dear, please don't crash in front of me. And as Mike Jones just mentioned in the chat, look at that Jag. Yes, a Jag starting on the front row around Bathurst. Who would have thought that?
Brian, how good does the Jag turn around Bathurst?
I imagine it does quite well through maybe the final corner, and it might be a bit of a handle coming through the chase.
Good, I'd reckon.
But it'll do pretty well on the straights. I am concerned about its performance over the top of the mountain, but I get the feeling we're going to see just how well or poor it does in a moment, Jesse.
Well, I can tell you, I had already abandoned the Jag by the time we had Bathurst, so I have never actually tried it here. It wasn't something that I had ever really considered as green flag, and already the 71 car of Jones is given a penalty for a start infraction, and that is going to literally ruin his race. All fair up front. Matcha out front. Ladelma is in second place in that Jag. He's trying to run away from Conway and Sundstrom, but nobody getting away from anybody early in this race. 19 and a half minutes just underway here, and already a battle. Sundstrom under fire here. No, excuse me, Sundstrom putting Conway under fire, I should say. Well, very interesting mix. And speaking of under fire, don't adjust your screen. Ladelma in that old Jag is still on the tail end of Matcha. And if I'm Matcha and I'm looking out the back, I'm like, what car even is that, dude? What are you in?
I was going to say, if I'm looking out the rear window of the Bentley right now, which isn't very big, I'd probably mistake that car for some disfigured GT4 car that's already been put in the wall. But no, that's not the case. It is a GT3 car. And, oh, just in the background, Harry Conway very much forgetting to use his brakes around Bathurst again, but this time not coming towards the elbow. In fact, it was after Skyline that unfortunately found the wall, and I get the feeling that with contact like that, that's probably going to be Harry Conway's race set and done here. But this is where the Jag will start to come into its own, chasing after the Bentley to come down the mountain now in towards the chase. The Jag closing and closing on the Bentley. How good is Jag on the brakes? pretty good actually, and doesn't seem to struggle too much. Takes a bit of the grass coming on the exit of the chase, but not too bad, and is still within half a second of the Bentley in front.
Yeah, I'm actually amazed that he's still within the time frame that he is. He certainly lost a bit through the chase section, though. He's going to have to try and make that up on this next straightaway. Look at that gap. Sundstrom gets all the way back up to third place here, and he will attempt to chase them down. Even at this camera angle, look how big the BMW looks in comparison to some of these other cars. She's a big old car, but she can, if you can hustle that thing around here, you can make up time. Oh, look at this camera angle. This is an excellent shot by Ryan Gill here, looking at Ladalma. This is through his windshield. You get to see his racing inputs in the Jag. Not a camera angle we get to see often because, again, nobody really runs the Jag. But this is exactly sort of what he's saying. Look at the elevation change and how close you have to get to the walls and everything. This makes it look heroic, this sort of camera angle. He can see the guy he's chasing after, and that's probably the most important part, because if you can see him, Ryan, you have a chance.
Yeah, you definitely do, but he's got his work cut out for him in this car. In fact, he's starting to lose time over the top of the mountain now. 1 second gap between the likes of Bart Matcher and Timu Ladelma. Sundstrom in the BMW will be starting to close up towards the likes of Ladelma, I would think, over the top of the mountain. I think the BMW will probably be fairly evenly paced with the Jag coming up and down the mountain. This car, of course, very, very quick in a straight line, and it's actually kind of nice that we've seen some more BMWs lately in some of the championships that we have been running, because you know, I'm not the biggest BMW fan in the world, but I love the N series cars.
Oh, they just look so good. They look mean. I like a big car that goes fast, and they just, oh boy, going fast over the grass right there. But I don't know. I've never. Confession time. During the Z4 era, as you Europeans call it, I hated that car. I hated the GT3 car. I knew it. I didn't never like it. It looked like Barbie's first race car, and I just did not like the thing. But whenever they went to the M3 and later the M6, the M8, or excuse me, when they went to the M6 and the M8, I really fell in love with BMW race cars. It reminded me of the old M3s and everything with the aggressive wide arches and just that sedan or sports car sort of shape. And I just really fell in love with the whole things. And apparently the 71 car is not only in the race, he served his penalty and he's halfway up the grid. Ryan, how's that happen?
Has he served his penalty? Oh yeah, he has. Yes.
So I'm actually being told that Mike Jones may have had a little executive decision, because it is a community race, to not allow that to happen.
Mr. Mike Jones interfering with the race again, unfortunately. It's just the way it is around here. You can't keep him out of the admin commands. Honestly, you can't. He's just.
Ryan, I can tell you, when I was stewarding one time, he was all too happy to show me how the admin commands worked, and he just seemed suspiciously
I
eager.
can imagine he was quite happy to show you how the admin commands work. But oh well, I mean, it's fine. It is what it is. I mean, it was for being out of position on the grid. I mean, it's not the end of the world, and obviously, you know, it's ACC's little indicator to line you up for the start of the grid can occasionally have its own set of issues. Not entirely.
Update on the sequence of events, he did not. He was suggesting to us that's a possibility. Jones has fallen back to the 8th position now. Unsure why he was so far up the grid after serving that penalty. I don't know, but he did serve that penalty in earnest. Harry Conway has brought his 303 Nissan into the pit road after that nasty contact that Ryan showed you, or up on top of the mountain after Skyline. And he's brought his car to pit road, and he's just sitting there, either because he's fixing the damage or because he is pulling out one way or another. Not how he expected his race to go so far, but It's heavy contact either way. And up front, it's still all Matcha leading by 3 seconds. This is sort of what I expected. I expected him to kind of run away, but give a call to Ladelma in that Jag, hanging on to the second spot at this point. And of course, Sundstrom is going to want to get by, but for right now, he's got a 2-second lead over him for that second position right now. Everybody else just kind of going through the motion. Already 13-second lead, or 13 seconds back, is the 4th place of Beckers. So that just shows you the pace that Matcha has had. And, but one little tap of the wall, anything just as simple as getting it a little bit wrong, and everything changes.
As we jump on board with Holtman here in the number 33 Porsche, he is chasing down Mike Chadwick in the number 70 McLaren. And something I did kind of just notice, if we have Bart Matcha win the race here at Bathurst, which he is looking pretty set to do right here with 12 minutes to go, we will have had a Mercedes, a McLaren, a Bentley, and then at Monza we had a what did we have when at Monza? It's so long ago now, I can't remember.
Wasn't that a Porsche?
It was, yes, it was Harry Conway. We'll have 4 different manufacturers win tonight at the 4 different venues that we've gone to, as Holtman is getting a bit out of shape coming out of the chase.
That's one thing, Ryan, I love about ACC. And some people will say whatever they will about ACC, but I love that. I love the fact that if you are passionate about a car and you really like it and you work at it, you can be really fascinated. And that's the one thing that I have been taught by a lot of these pro drivers, these esport drivers, who will take a car that, generally speaking, is out of favor, in serious competition, and they can come to one of our races and they can win with the thing. And that's the most amazing thing to me, is to see good drivers have good races in cars that sometimes we wouldn't necessarily imagine. We've certainly seen Bentley win races that we've covered, Ryan, and it's like, how did that happen? As well as a good driver, and he knows that car, and that's just the way it is sometimes. And I love that brand parity. I love that ACC is set up that way. It's like there's some tracks where some cars are better, but there's no killer app. There's no killer car that just goes out and can just absolutely dominate every track. We have tons of analytical data. I know you've seen the graphs. I've seen the graphs where all of the different strengths and weaknesses of the cars are identified based on tracks. And I love that. I love the fact that we can go to 4 different tracks and we could potentially have 4 different cars win. And keep in mind, too, if Matcha does win, that's 3 different drivers in 4 races, too.
Yeah, it is. And, you were talking about the one killer car. I think if there's any car that kind of challenges for that mantle at the moment, it is definitely the Porsche. But the Porsche does have the tracks that it does struggle on as well. Hungaroring is a circuit in which, I have been told by, not just Porsche drivers, but esports drivers as well, that the Porsche struggles around the likes of Hungaroring, and it doesn't dominate at all of the circuits, and it's a very, very good car for a lot of circuits, but there are the circuits in which it has its difficulties.
Yeah, certainly so. The thing about the Porsche is, too, and I've heard this a lot from all the various drivers, is that for a Porsche, you really have to drive that car, and you have to be aware of, the fact that that car at any given point could just decide to give up and want to go home. And that's a joke about a serious thing about the car, is that you have to be on top of it all the time, and it takes 100% of your brain function and monitoring to be fast in it and be a reliable choice for you. And that's it's certainly one of those cars that is labeled not for beginners. But this fight continues here. This is Bex and Boss, who are having a fight for the potential of 4th position. It's all been very tidy so far between these two, and every time that Boss goes through that particular section. I think he's going to tear down that wall. Oh, just like that, and he doesn't every single time. God, these racers are going to give me a heart attack. And speaking of a heart attack, Beckers goes off into the dirt, and Skyline gets it back in line. No harm, no foul. And Boss is like, man, that could have been my opportunity if I would have been just that much closer.
And speaking of an opportunity, Beckers is actually going to slow down a bit, and Boss is going to go through, and then they come into the elbow. Boss is going to be through. The number 1 Audi moves up to 4th place up at the front. Bart Matcher leading by about 5.7 seconds. That's going to update fairly shortly, and it's up to 6.2 now, as Mikael Sundstrom is also dropping back in the BMW from the Jag to 5.8 seconds at the moment. Speaking of Teemu Lidelma though in the Jag, let's have a look at how this car does. We'll go on board with the Jag for a lap around Mount Panorama, and this is a car that, you know, I would imagine struggles here quite a bit, but Lidelma's not putting on too bad of a show. I imagine Sundstrom is not quite used to the BMW, and that probably explains his drop in pace, but Lidelma is actually making the Jag look pretty comfortable around here, it has to be said.
Yeah, this is a fantastic shot, folks. We're riding on board in the passenger side of his best friend's ride, trying to holler at me, but we are in the passenger side windshield, or on the dash, I should say. This is similar to what the driver would see, just on the other side. They may see a bit of the instrument panel as well. But this is a ride on board of what you'd be focusing on as you drive around here. And just look how smooth he makes all of this look as we go around here. I can't make a single lap look like this. I guarantee all of his laps have looked like this as far as the comfort scale. And like you were saying, Sundstrom is falling back off of Lidelma at this time. And Lidelma, of course, is also losing time to match it in front. But he's making this so smooth, and it's no surprise to me after seeing this lap, as we see, I get a sense of the speed down through the chase. Excuse me, down through the straight, now into the chase. It's just such a fantastic sense of speed from this camera. And just look at this. No, absolutely, it looks effortless. It looks like he could do this all day, and I bet he actually could. But that's been a lap around here in the Jag. Actually made that look incredibly comfortable around this joint. I expected it, just like Ryan, to be more of a handful, to struggle a little bit more, but no, it looks like it's all neat and tidy for the driver of the number 10. And also, it's worth mentioning, it's a lovely thing to look at, that Jag. Just I'm not really the biggest fan of British Racing Green, I'll be honest, but it is still a sight to see. It's one of those oddball cars. They only ever had a few of these that raced in the what is now the International GT Challenge Series, and they actually won races, I do believe, Ryan, unless I'm very much mistaken.
Sorry, Jesse, I was just looking into something. If you could repeat the question.
Oh, it wasn't a question. I was just making conversation about the Jag. I believe it actually in the ICGT back in when it was ran. I believe it actually won a few races, predominantly endurance races in the International GT Challenge Series. I think it's.
I don't actually know about that one. I've never actually... No, I know it hasn't won Bathurst. Or at least I'm pretty sure it hasn't won Bathurst.
No, it absolutely hasn't won Bathurst.
But, yeah, I'm not actually entirely sure about the Jag. As far as I was aware, it wasn't a very successful car. But that's only on the GT Europe side of things. I'm not entirely sure about the Intercontinental Series, because I only started following the Intercontinental Series properly a couple of years ago, so before that wasn't entirely sure on some of the results. In fact, over the lockdown period with the lack of motorsport, we've Me and some of my family members have been sitting down and going back through some of the old races from 2-3 years ago, just because we've run out of stuff to watch.
Ah, yes, I can confirm. I am not insane, Ryan. I looked it up. That car, that Jag, won 3 times in its history of entrance. It was actually fairly successful, believe it or not. Of course, there was a less successful Jaguar in the British GT series that you may recall from the early 2000s. That was not successful at all. It got destroyed by Moslers and stuff like that in those races. But the Emil Frey one, which is the one we have in ACC, was fairly successful. It was always the underdog, just like the Nissan GTRs, but proved that it could punch above its weight class, and indeed saw some tops of podiums and checkered flags. And every time they get close to that wall, I draw up in my seat, because that is how close you are to a big mistake and a long ride and a few bumps and thuds along the way. As you tag that wall, you're going to probably hit it with the front, because it's going to pull the car into the wall in certain instances. But yeah, I'll tell you one other thing. I'm fairly disappointed as we go from the front splitter cam of the BMW of Sundstrom. I've been sort of disappointed with BMW's program over the years, with its, I guess you'd call it, lack of success for how much they invested into it, and their will they want they with the M8, oh, we're going to pull it, no, we're not kind of thing. But again, that's just my 2 cents as we've entered the final 2 minutes. It looks like it's going to be 1 lap to go this time by for your little Bart Macha, who is way out front in his number 404 Bentley. Of course, we're riding with Sundstrom. We're getting a real sense of the speed and the ferocity that you can expect from one of these cars. This is mounted in the grill opening where the splitter meets the intake, and you could see, oh my goodness, as he gets a big bite of curve, just get a real sense of how fast you're going around here and how vicious you are when you're turning. It's truly a sight to be. I couldn't drive the car from this perspective, though. I just don't think that's possible for me.
No, I definitely would not enjoy driving the car from this perspective, but it does give you a great view of what exactly the track is like, because often from the driver's seat it's kind of hard to often visualize all the bumps and everything that you definitely feel but you maybe don't see, and it's the same on the TV cameras. You don't see all of this on the side cameras, and you really get a feeling for all the undulation that this circuit has and how impressive it is to see these cars go full speed around this circuit.
Somebody commenting, I think there's a few bits of Nissan in that grill. Yeah, so the way that the floors get damaged in ACC, it shows up on it shows up on the splitter of these vehicles. So that's actually, I think, what you're seeing. Oh, and that's exactly what I was talking about. Tagging on the wall, Sundstrom gets into the wall there and slams into it, and it pulled him further into it. You're going to see it right here. He's going to hit it with the back. It's going to slam into the wall, pops the right side of the car up. He continues on. Luckily, it's the last lap. Otherwise, that might have been a problem. That was fairly significant contact, as Bart Macha is going to come across the line here in his Bentley. We are going to have 4 out of 4 different manufacturers winning today. He's going to be so excited. He's going to slam in the wall. And also the underdog, Ladelma, is going to drive his Jag. He's going to confirm that his qualifying was not a fluke. He's going to there's no way that he saw what Bart Macha did, but he did the same exact thing in celebration. Sundstrom will come across in the BMW and finish 3rd in the race. It's going to be Boss all alone in 4th position as the camera gets completely lost. Homeward bound, where are you? Boss is going to come home for that 4th position. Holtman in 5th place. It's going to be Becker's 6th. Chadwick 7th. Jones in 8th place. And Conway, who's in pit road, 9th. Oh, maybe it isn't going to be like that. There's going to be an absolute crazy finish here. It looked like Beckers went for it on Holtman. Can't quite get it done. Holtman is going to end up being 5th place. Beckers 6th, as it all came undone through the chase for the final time. Beckers will have to settle for 6th place. Now it'll be Chadwick Jones and Conway, who has retired to the pits. Well, I would say that's a successful evening's sport. Ryan, what do you say?
I think I think we've definitely had our fair share of interesting racing as the camera pans over towards the crowd, maybe looking for some kangaroos in there.
Oh dear.
But that is going to be it for tonight. And thank you very much for all the drivers that joined us here tonight. Thank you for everyone who joined the stream here tonight as well. You guys are heroes as well for coming and hanging out in something that was a lot more calm and a lot more chill, and obviously for a lot of people not as entertaining. For us, it was entertaining though. As ever, and we will look to do some of these again next week on Tuesday night, and hopefully we can have a few more people joining in and get a few more exciting races out for the Tuesday community race streams. Of course, if you've enjoyed what you've seen today, hit the like button, subscribe, all that good stuff. It really does help us out, because YouTube algorithms and all that stuff, and of course it helps us because it gives us a little stepping stone that goes a very long way towards being one of the best ACC or sim racing communities in the world, and that is one of our goals. So everything helps, every single person matters, so your support is greatly appreciated for tonight. And going forward, we will have the Friday ICGT Championship race. We will have the Silvers and the Rookies this Friday coming. And then, of course, next week, GT4 gets released on the 15th of July, on the Wednesday, if you weren't already aware. And we will have our GT4 Championship up and running for the 20th of July. So get yourself ready for that as soon as the DLC drops. It's going to be exciting. But besides that, Jesse, any closing thoughts?
No, other than I like community night. I'm not cramped over the desk taking notes. I get to sit back in the chair, get to enjoy a race with my mate, Ryan Gill, and it's been absolutely fantastic to share that with you guys. Ryan, thanks for having me. Late entry to the dog box, as I call it, and hopefully we get to do this real soon again.
Yeah, that's for sure. Hopefully Tuesday will produce some amazing community lobby racing as well. But from us, you will see us next time here on RCI TV for the silver split of the ICGT Sprint Championship. If I can get the words out correctly this time. And then, of course, we will have the rookie split on Twitch as well. So that's going to be incredibly exciting. So if you want to watch the rookies, you'll head to RCI_racing on Twitch. If you want to watch the silvers, it will be right here on YouTube. That's going to be on Friday, 7:30 BST. Do not miss it. But from Jesse and myself here tonight, thank you very much for joining us. We will see you on Friday, and we hope to see as many of you back as possible for next week's Tuesday Community Races. Have a great evening.